Hello, and welcome to another map overview in Company of Heroes 2, brought to you by Seth Kipris. That guy would be me. The name of the map is called Blackout, Blood Brothers 3, and it is made by Omega. The recommended settings are no mod, fixed positions, standard resources, and as always victory points set at 1000 points. The map has also been modified to custom a population cap of 200. Now with the backstory and map layout. The backstory is simple. The dispatcher told you that the enemy is on the run, that they have no armor, therefore all your units that are, anti-armor related, like the anti-tank gun, are withdrawn, and you get a smaller income of fuel, but you are granted some extra manpower. So for example, when you try to build an AT gun in one of your buildings, it will be stated that you cannot build it because it has been diverted somewhere else. It was needed somewhere else. So we explained that. Let's explain the layout of the map. But first of all, notice one thing. You already noticed it. It is bloody dark, and when I say bloody dark, I really mean it. One of the soldiers in the dialogue basically said that he can barely see his feet. That is not an understatement. I have problems seeing already, and I'm not an old person. But then again, that is the purpose of the map, to make it hard to navigate. So let's speak about the map. It is a combination of some urban with some open-ended fields. So for example, you do have buildings such as this at some key points that you can use, but you also have terrains that are, like this park, for example. There are, let's see, some walls around here which will favor more close quarters combat. But you will need to mix your units together, which means for assaults you will probably use your shock troops, since they have body armor. They can close in better than, guards, while you will use guards and other infantry to engage the enemy from the distance. The type of terrain that I can describe here is basically an open field with some urban elements in it. I can't really make a conclusion on that. Other points of interest that may be present here are this bridge. You can blow it up, but considering that you start at the other end of the map and that the enemy is already advancing there and he will occupy it, well, yeah, that's going to be a hard task. The location of the victory points is also asymmetrical again. We have one here, another one here, and a third here. Upon scanning the map, you will notice that you do have some munition points, but you do not have any fuel points, so emphasis on infantry combat will be more focused in this regard. All that said, now let's see some other interesting points. For example, there are some abandoned vehicles in the city, mostly Oberkommando West. So you have this, what does it say, half-track with infrared searchlight. So if you capture this, then you can scout ahead what type of enemy units the enemy will have. That is a great benefit. Oh look, there's another one here. There's a Kugelwagen that you can occupy here. That's always a good choice, and I think I saw, yep, here's a SD, I can pronounce it, a 2-2 armored car. So if you manage to capture them, that will benefit you greatly. I also need to point out some other enemy emplacements. For example, you have 2 artillery emplacements here. These are left 18 artillery pieces alongside with 1 bunker carrying this very narrow, very narrow corridor. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. You can bring some mortars and then bombard them. I tried to throw a grenade here in order to blast the wall and then advance, but my infantry couldn't throw it. I guess they can't throw, uphill, and even if they did, they couldn't go uphill in order to, come here and eliminate them. But what you can do, and what I advise, is basically have shock troop squads here, throw some smoke grenades, advance forward, eliminate the artillery pieces, and then bring in the guards with PTR S41s in order to destroy the bunker. Piece of cake. Let's see what other units the enemy has. So he has, besides these two. Okay, as far as the enemy regiments go, they are mostly assault grenadiers with some grenadiers combined together. Let's see. Yep, some stormtroopers. We have some stormtroopers here, and a rather large force of what seems to be Sturm Pioneers. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Sturm Pioneers with 2 Panzerfusiliers, which means good medium to long range combat for them. Luckily, it will take them some time in order to cross the bridge and arrive at the other side. So what I would advise players here to do, you have good starting units. For example, I started with, and I'm going to talk about it now, I started with 4 shock troops, 2 guards, 1 conscript squad, and a half-track alongside with some engineers. Let's have a look at the other players here. So player 2 has, what I can see here, 2 penal squads, conscript, engineers, 2 machine gun squads, and a half-track. While player 3 gets, let's see, it seems to be that he has 2 guards, 1 penal squad, 2 shock troops. Is this? Yep, he has another penal squad, make that 2. An engineer squad, and a dishka, or dushka as they like to say it, and a M3 M5 half-track. So basically all players start with a half-track that will enable them quick advancement into neutral and enemy territory and capturing of points and reinforcement of your infantry. And that is the important thing about this map, reinforcing your infantry. It's important that you do not retreat them as often, but that applies to all matches in Company of Heroes 2. The enemy will be tough, especially when he receives reinforcements from the Oberkommando West. The terrain is hard to determine due to the, night that is present here. There are some defensive emplacements, for example, look, bunker right here. There might be some bunkers around the map that will also hinder your progress, so you do need to take that into consideration. As far as advices go, I already said, be aggressive, capture as much as territories. If you see a point that you can capture and hold it, especially with some buildings nearby, for example, this is a good place. Why is it a good place? I'll explain why. You can place some mines here, capture the point. You can put 2 squads in it. It can be a machine gun squad with guards that are equipped with PTRS. You can hold this no problem. I played it, I planned some mines, and when I saw that a pioneer squad with flamethrower was coming, I was delighted to see that they were blown to bits and pieces. With all that said, again, the asymmetrical type of map, the lack of fuel, which will not give emphasis on vehicle combat, and the emphasis on cooperation makes this map rather enjoyable. I don't like the fact that it is night. I mean, I enjoy some night battles. For example, in Total War they are a delight to play, but when it is made like this, it is a bit problematic when you fight in areas that are dark. For example, I don't know, here. But other than that, it seems that it only gets dark when I pause like this, so you get the impression, but otherwise I don't think that it will hinder you too much. With all that said, I'm finishing this map overview. I hope you found it entertaining and informative. See you next time.